Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Sue. This is the second in our series of videos as we go through July. You know, normally we get together and we do a big energy report of what it is that we can expect as we go through the month ahead. But July really is one of those months. It's a pivotal month energy-wise, and I didn't want to overwhelm us with a deluge of information. I wanted to rather give us bite-sized snippets so that we can digest it, we can process it, and we can work with it practically. Because I firmly believe that if information doesn't have a practical application, then what's the point of knowing about it? So I always try to make sure that we take this information and we apply a very practical aspect to it. In this short weekend ahead, we have got Guru Purnima happening on Sunday. We have a full moon happening on Saturday. We have a lunar eclipse that's happening. We are still in Mercury retrograde, and in fact this weekend Mercury goes combust in retrograde, so we need to watch out for that. And of course it's Independence Day, so these are the themes that I'm going to be talking about in this little video. If you like to receive updates and you want to get notifications as we release these videos, please do hit subscribe, hit the little bell so that you notify and you get told when we put our next video out. And if you like this content, just please like it and share it so that others can be informed about it as well. So let's dive straight in and let's start furthest out. Let's work from Sunday. Sunday is Guru Purnima. Now, what is Guru Purnima? You're probably thinking it is an event that happens every single year. And quite simply, it is the honoring of the teacher. It is honoring of the guru. It is honoring of the one who brings us into light. Now, in the olden days, this was when we honored our gurus. This was when we honored our masters. This was honoring the wisdom, the teaching, the spiritual teaching, the lineage. And on Guru Purnima, we honor the lineage, we honor the teaching, and we honor their role in our life. But there's also a deeper meaning, is that we honor the teaching. And if you look at where we are, especially in this day and age, here we are, 2020 has been a big one. We are all learning, we are all being taught, we are all in this great cosmic classroom right now. Whether the lessons are harsh or whether they are beautiful, we are all in a space where we are learning big time right now. And so on Sunday, we're being asked to stop and reflect for a little while on where I've come from and where I am now and where this journey that I am on is taking me, and to be in a space of deep honoring and deep sacredness as you contemplate the wisdoms and the teachings that have come to you, whether they've come to you from a priest or a rabbi or a guru, whether they've come to you from an avatar, whether they've come to you from a coach or a healer or a psychologist, whether they've come to you from life itself. This is when we stop, we light a candle, and we say thank you for the learning, thank you for the teaching, and we honor our specific teachers, those who have come in, who have opened our eyes, those who have shed light into our lives. So sometime on Sunday, just allow yourself to be quiet within, go into a space of reflection, maybe light a candle, maybe be in a space where you just say thank you in deepest gratitude for this journey that you are on, and for the people who are showing up in your life and who are teaching you and showing you along the way. This is a time when we also give thanks to the students. So if you are a teacher, you know, we learn so much from our students. The teacher never gets to the point where they know it all unless they're enlightened. And so this is a time where, as a teacher, we return the favor and we say thank you for our students, and thank you for the wisdom and the give and the take that our students are in. It's a very beautiful day, it's a very wonderful day, and it's just a space of being sacred. So set the diary and give yourself some time to be gentle on that day and honoring and respectful of the wisdom that is coming your way. The next thing that we need to know is that we have got a lunar eclipse that is happening on the 4th. And it is actually being called the Independence Day eclipse because it is happening on the 4th, and also because it is going to be seen mostly over North America and South America, in that swathe here. If you're in Europe, if you're in Africa, you will see the beginning of it, but you're not going to see it at its maximum. If you're in India, you're probably not going to get any kind of exposure at all to it because it's below the horizon of where you are. So where its visibility is going to be is on that swathe from the North America, South America down. That's the predominant space. Now, it's called a penumbral lunar eclipse. What that actually means is that we're not going to see the full darkening of the moon. We're not going to see the moon being completely eclipsed because the sun, the moon, and the earth are not in perfect alignment. So it's a semi-alignment, so we see a shadowing of the moon. So it's not one of these massive spectacular things where here it is and no it's not, but it is on a full moon. So we are going to see the glory of the full moon. You can expect to see a shadowing. If you are in America, or if you are in South America, the time that you will see is towards the end of Independence Day, towards the end of July the 4th. Now, here's what's really interesting is that you guys are celebrating independence on this day. But the fact that we have a lunar eclipse, the sun, the moon, and the earth, is actually, its message here is don't forget that we are all interdependent. We're not independent. We are not alone. We are not islands in the stream. We are all interdependent, and we are all part of that great cosmic alignment, and that there is this independency, this intertwining, that we can't have a lunar eclipse unless we've got the sun and the moon and the earth doing their thing. It's an interdependence as opposed to an independence. And as we all know, tensions have been fraught, they've been stressed, they've been pushed to the limit over this whole corona epidemic that we've had worldwide. And so the message of interdependence, intertwining, for me is a very beautiful energy to reflect upon. Now, lunar eclipses are beautiful, but they're not necessarily auspicious. And why is that? Well, you've got to think that we've got the sun, which is this whole energy of light. It is this whole source of light. And in Vedic psychology, the sun represents your self-identity. It represents your self-awareness, your self-knowledge. It represents the self. So we have this energy here, and then we have the moon. And what is the moon? Well, the moon represents your psyche. It represents your subconscious. It represents your unconscious. It represents your emotional energy. Your relationships are all run from an emotional perspective. In our last video, we spoke about Venus and what she was doing to our relationships. Well, the moon is also, she runs the subconscious. She runs our emotional component. And now what we've got is we've got this blockage that comes in between the light and the emotions. So we can expect that we feel a bit emotional. We feel some of our shadows coming up. We might feel that we feel a little bit up and down, that here is this very glorious event and it's happening on July the 4th and it's all celebrations and joy, but we might be feeling a tad emotional as we go into a shadow phase. And if that is what you experience, then there's only one thing to say is remember the moon's energy asks us to nurture. She asks us to be compassionate. She asks us to be soft. She asks us to stop and to listen. And if any emotional debris is coming up, whether it's from corona, whether it is from anxiety, stress, worry, shadows, we all have monsters under the bed. If they are coming up, do the mother thing. nurture, love, respect, gentle, compassion, no heavy pushing here. Now, here's the other thing that is happening is we are still in Mercury retrograde. The reason why I say that is that this particular lunar eclipse, we have the sun literally sitting smack bang on top of Mercury. And what it's called Mercury going combust. When we have an energy, when we have a planet that is almost like perfectly on top of the sun, it almost takes everything, every quality of that planet, and it makes it combust. It literally burns it up. Now, you might have felt it over the last couple of days as we're moving closer and closer into this combust space, that you've been feeling tense, you've been feeling itchy, you've been feeling almost like a little bit irrational. You might find that your technology has fritzed and gone on the blink, that something was working this morning and it's not working 2 minutes later, because Mercury's energy, it's all about technology, it's all about communication, it's all about expression, it's all of these things. Now imagine all of that is just getting like a mushroom cloud that gets that comes after a nuclear bomb has been detonated. And remember, when a nuclear bomb has been detonated, there's this wind, this enormous wind that just rushes and burns everything. That's kind of what we've got at the moment. We've had it for the last couple of days. We're going to have it for the next couple of days. By the time we leave on Monday, then Mercury has moved in, and there's another dynamic that comes on to play, and I'll talk about that on Monday. But what it means here, Mercury retrograde, one of the things it does, besides the technology and the computers and all of this, it creates massive miscommunication of what I say and you hear, of what you say and I think you said. There is this energy where we kind of miss the boat here. And because it's combust, it can make us be in a space of, damn it, I'm right. You damn well gotta listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. You're not listening to me. And then couple that with the lunar eclipse, so that energy of emotion and rationality and is being eclipsed and the shadow is coming up. It could be a fraught weekend of opinions and what I think, and damn it, you're not listening to me, miscommunications and all of that. So before you kind of jump into any arguments or any kind of disagreements, what we're being asked to do is just be aware that from an energy, emotional perspective, this weekend is a huge one. It's a huge one. You don't get much bigger than your emotional energy and your psyche and your self-identity and your self-worth being blocked from talking to each other, and then we have a combust energy right on top of that. So it's not necessarily the time for gentle and peace. You might find yourself a little bit fraught. So as I say, be in that space where the thing that's going through my mind at the moment, we don't have to attend every battle that we're invited to, is particularly true as we go through this weekend. So let's recap. We have Mercury, who is going combust. Never pleasant, never nice. It's like a nuclear force wind, that just strips the bones off you. So that's happening. We've got July the 4th, which is the celebration of independence, happening on an event which stresses interdependence and connection and community, happening at the same time as we have this lunar eclipse which separates listen to me and what I feel. So we've got that happening. And so as we move from now through July the 4th all the way through to the waking up on the 5th of July, You want to be in a space where you are gentle, you are compassionate, you are reflecting on the interdependence, you don't get pulled into massive arguments or opinions or disagreements or whatever. You let this combust energy do what it needs to do, and you step back, witness it, don't engage. Witness it, don't engage. Full moons are always a beautiful event, as you know, but a lunar eclipse isn't. And so I know a lot of people say, oh, put your crystals out under the sun and, you know, do all your full moon stuff. On a lunar eclipse, we don't want to do that, because you've got to imagine that all the power of that moon energy is actually now being shadowed. And you don't want to be in a space where you spend too long underneath a lunar eclipse. It's actually a very interesting thing. The gurus in India all say that food rots at something like 4 or 5 times the rate under an eclipse than it does normally. So if you've got cooked food, and there's stuff left over, don't leave it on the counter, put it away in the fridge. If you've got fruit or anything that normally stays outside, you know, put it in the fridge or in a cool space during an eclipse, because it's interesting that eclipses, what they do is they slow down the digestion for you, so you might find you eat and it sits in your stomach for longer, but it speeds up the disintegration of the food. So it's a little bit of an interesting juxtaposition there. So, and then of course, as we go into Guru Purnima, the message is honor. So in short, be gentle, be circumspect, be in a space where you witness that you don't engage. Be in a space where you are reflective of all of this energy, your self-worth, your self-power, your shadows, your tensions, your worries, and all of these things. Reflect on the interdependency of life as opposed to the sovereignty, independence of life. And then as we move into Sunday, it is a beautiful day to honor, to give thanks, to give respect to those who have taught us along the way. So very quick, very short little video. I will be back with you next week because we're going to be talking about the shadow of Venus and the shadow of Taurus, and why these two shadows together make things very, very bitchy and what to do about it. And then we've got a very interesting phenomena in Jyotish. It is called a yoga, and I'm going to be explaining what that is. So 2 more videos coming next week. So as I say, if you are enjoying this little snippet of information, hit subscribe, hit notify, hit like, and I will be back with you next week. Until then, happy July the 4th. Happy Interdependence Day. Have a good one. Bye for now.